Great sunrise, light beings. Welcome, 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 family, to today's world 411. Full of inflammation that eventually leads to clarity. So they say race war. But I broke down that word race before, right, family? It's like I said that it's a cover up, though, for our true condition that we're in. The true condition. But they call it race so they can get us to normalize our condition. Except that the lie that they hate us because of, which is, in a way, it's a truth too, because it all leads up to the true reason why we're hated as a people. The deeper reason why we're hated as a people. But now I'm going to go into the fact that I did say that it isn't about race, but if they want to call it that as a label to signify their agenda, we have to go with that, because in order for you to understand what I'm about to say next is that these race wars, we always been in it. We never, since day one, we never came out of. We started, they pulled us into this situation that we're in. So therefore, how can you say that a race war is inevitable when we lived in one for the past, they say, 400 years, and but the sad part about it is we could never pinpoint. We always allow those who are against us to lead the way of the narrative, to write the narrative for us. And we really just followed. We pretty much just followed. But it's a new day. It's a new day. It's new. So you can't, it's kind of foolish to think, for us to think that a race war hasn't happened yet. When what are we dealing with here? What have we endured? What are we suffering through? So it was started long ago, if that's what they want to call it. But also, I want us to look at some things that we are asleep at the wheel Um, and that's some facts. Some facts here. Okay, we're the ones that are in the situation, the condition. We're in the condition where we're on the bottom, right? And this is how I see it. Because we're in the condition and that we're on the bottom, I don't see where we have the time to allow these people, to allow this force outside of us to get us caught up in things outside of us, such as nationality, um, and various other little things like that. See, nationality is the biggest thing that has caused a corruption, you know. And not only that, but the male and female thing. We've allowed a lot of things to come amongst us and keep us preoccupied with the wrong things. None of our minds were right, and our head was screwed straight instead of backwards, facing backwards. Our heads are actually facing backwards, and our minds are kind of crooked in our heads. So that's what I mean. We're kind of like off balance, basically, I could say. And but if we had it all together, we would be able to past, see past the tricks of their trade. The tricks of their trade. They got trick bags, and they pull them out all the time. Such as this thing called divide and conquer, which we allow them to do to us all the time. They just stuck it out, and now we do it to ourselves. I want to look at Africa and America. Because I don't think, and I'm talking international here, so any international viewers, please don't feel left out, because I'm talking to you as well about this particular subject before I get into the news here and some more things. But the divide and conquer, the making, it's just unnecessary. And especially in these times of dire need, it's we need to be one. It's an evil, wicked, dirty force out here. An evil, wicked, dirty force out here. And we're still concerned about little things like, what am I going to call myself? Nationality. I'm Indian, or I'm African, or I'm Indian and I'm not like them Africans, or I'm not like these. It doesn't make much sense at all. And I don't think it gets you anywhere. I mean, it's not going to get you anywhere. Except in the trap that they want you. I know that there's a dire need that it's very important that we look at what is good for the whole. What's good for the whole of us out here, and not just our own ego, selfish, stuck on something, some fairy tale that was created by your enemy, by your opposition to your existence. And I left out religion too. You know, they had to have a they had to have some strongholds. They had to have strongholds for us that we could get trapped within. Some really tough things that can trap us in to keep us down, to keep you down. And a lot of people fall for it. But the truth is always going to be revealed. The truth is always revealed regardless. So let me look at this real quick. And we're going to look at the resources in Africa versus the resources in America. Now, we know a lot about Africa. It has a large quantity of natural resources. That's why all the countries and all the people tried to get their fingers and their hands deep into it. Quantity of natural resources including diamond, sugar, salt, gold, iron, cobalt, uranium, copper, bauxite, silver, petroleum, and cocoa beans, but also woods and tropical fruits. Recent oil reserve discoveries have increased the importance of that commodity on African economies. Sudan and Nigeria are two of the main oil producers. And that's in Africa, and this is America. Here we go. Okay, what do we have in America? Mountains and highlands. Latin America has an enormous span from north to south, as you can see. Actually, United States is fairly small from the map on page 191. Plains for grains and livestock. South America has a wide plains that offer rich soil for growing crops and grasses. So that's pretty much what you got for Northern America. So it is what it is. And many of us have chosen to fall for traps all the time. I mean, it's unrelentless. What news do I want to go into next? I'm trying to think. I think I'm going to go into the news about this young lady who is an African. She came over for school, and let's get into it. And I don't think the media gave it much attention, so I'm definitely going to discuss this. I should have discussed it a long time ago, but this is the beautiful young lady that was murdered. I say murdered because, everything in the news has been, I'm telling you, family, they are killing people, Black, Negro people. They're killing people. It's no suicides. It's no suicides. So let's get into this story about this sister. Her name is, her last name is Bamboa. So Miss Bamboa, Bembo, a young black girl was found hanging dead in the garage of her white roommate, and the police department has ruled it suicide. Now, the police department has ruled it a suicide. I didn't know police ruled the death. I thought the coroner decides that. Yet friends and family speculate otherwise, according to Heavy. Is it going to click in? Is it going to let me tell the story? Remember, family, we bring life and they give death. It's just, I mean, I'm so over it by now. I'm so over it. We bring life, they give death. The McKinney Police Department has declared the death of 20-year-old Gloria Bamboa, a McKinney, Texas resident, a suicide after she was found dead in the garage on July the 12th. Gloria Bamboa, a South African citizen and a resident of McKinney, Texas, was found hung inside her garage. Gloria resided with her roommate. Okay, hold on. This is Texas again, family. This is Texas. Her family's all the way in South Africa. Now, didn't we have the case where the Jamaican, he was sitting in his house and he was shot? What are these foreigners getting? What propaganda are they listening to that these people here are safe to be around? Botham John was shot sitting in his house eating a bowl of cereal, getting ready to watch his sports game. In Texas, the big don't mess with me state. Come on. That's what I mean. We're totally, I mean, this girl's parents, they allowed her to live with a white man in Texas, of all places. They must not be getting inflammation over there on what goes on locally in America. Because we've always had crazy things done to Black people in Texas. But somehow these people saw fit. See, this is what I mean by normalizing our condition. Our condition is so normal and expected that we even allow ourselves to be led to slaughter at that point. Led to slaughter. Not knowing, having a clue about the world around us or who we are or what in conjunction and how all this works out. It's like that girl, that African girl. Let me pull out. She went to the global warming thing in England with a bunch of white friends because she thought she could be in on the global warming. I think that happened last year. And they totally did not get her in the picture. She was left out of the picture. The black girl was left out of the picture. The African girl, she was left out of the picture. They took a picture of every white person, but they left her, she was the only black girl. They left her out of the picture. But I don't see her on here, so I'm just going to go back to the story. You see, our condition is so normalized that we walk around here just waiting to be slaughtered. But I digress, and let's finish getting into this. Gloria Bamboa, South African citizen and resident of McKinney, Texas, was found hung inside her garage. Gloria resided with her roommate, a white male, who found her he so happened to find her in the garage. Yeah, right. Sunday, July the 12th, 2020. Gloria went missing Thursday and supposedly died in the garage the last day, July the 9th. Gloria's body was in that garage 3 days, where people resided, and repairs were made. No one has heard anything about this. Why? We need to know what happened to Gloria. Oh, I can tell you why. The same thing that happened to my African nephew. My African nephew, who was going to college up in Ohio, master's degree, working on his master's. Great poet, great comic writer. He wrote comic. I'm sorry. Great comic writer. Very talented. Very talented young man. But one night, he was with a group of people he thought were friends, Caucasians, drinking in a bar. Someone had a gun. They claim that he shot himself in the eye with the gun. Come on. I haven't seen one news article on him. I haven't seen the news talk about him. When I look, I can't pull anything up. The same with this African young lady. The same thing. When are we going to put aside our petty differences and recognize that the Negroid on the planet, not the Indian that wants to be straight-haired Indian, wavy-haired Indian, light-skinned Indian, damn near white $5 Indian. Not that one. Although we do know the indigenous people of all lands were Black. But at this point, we know this. We know what happens. Why are we still giving them the upper hand and allowing them to divide and conquer? Why are we still allowing things to happen to people within our community of people? Let's see. because we're normalized. We're normalized in our condition. It's normal. We can sit in it and think that we feel okay, you know, even though it's not okay because some of our people are asleep. I mean, in a deep sleep, a deep, deep sleep to certain facts that are right in front of their faces. But because these people are tricky, because these entities, I say these entities are tricky and slick at what they do, we were given something that not all beings on the planet have the capability of having. But we were also distracted from using that to our best ability to yield what we would like to see, to manifest what we would like to see happen for us. So they distracted us from, they cut us off from being in tune with self. So we're so distracted and so fractioned because they do like the fraction thing. They like to have things in little pieces, not a whole. They can work better with it when it's, I guess, in little pieces rather than the whole. So that's where we're at. Let's see. And I cannot get the rest of too much of this story. Okay. Okay. McKinney police posted a statement on its Facebook refuting the speculations that Bembo didn't commit suicide. See, they're going to swear up and down. And to this day, my sister-in-law cannot get answers about her son. The McKinney Police Department typically does not comment on suicide, including naming the deceased, but due to the public nature of this case, we feel the need to clarify some inaccuracies. A number of posts on social media have speculated about the death of Gloria Bamboa, a 20-year-old Black female. Mrs. Bamboa's body was discovered by her 19-year-old male housemate, who has fully cooperated during the investigation. All evidence in the case so far leads investigators to believe it was suicide. The medical examiner's findings are still pending, but the preliminary examination of the body has not uncovered any evidence to contradict what was discovered at the residence. This case is still under investigation and is not closed at this time. We are committed to a complete, full investigation of Ms. Bamboa's tragic death, and we grieve the tragic loss of this promising young life. See, they got you fooled. They got you fooled into thinking that somehow they are people of life. They're not people of life at all. They're not people of life at all. No life is within them. Just like there's no truth, only lies. Lies and death. And the NAACP will not do anything because they never were set up for us. You have to be careful, my family, on what is set up for us and what is not. for us. They are not for us. No shape or form, unfortunately. And I mean, like I said, it is. I'm going to get into the next news here. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me get into the next news here. The next news, we're done with the Texas news. Okay, the next news I'm getting into is about the money. This is like a, okay, let me fix this thing here. Oh, laser cleaning. Macari sees the dollar weakening ahead of U.S. presidential election. This is July the 17th, 2020. Macari Group Garth Berry told CNBC on Friday the U.S. dollar was meant to be safe haven currency. But we have had episodes in the past where the dollar has weakened around political events in the US. It's rare, but happens from time to time. Berry cited two previous occasions where this happened during 2011 debt ceiling crisis in the US, as well as the 2016 election. The Japanese yen and euro could serve as key alternatives to the dollar, Berry said. The dollar will see weakness going into the U.S. elections in November, predicted Macari's foreign exchange strategist, who says he is bearish on the currency. Now, family, as we can see, a lot of places are asking that we use exact change because a lot of places are running out of coins. So we're having a shortage of coins right now and here. So what I understand is China wants to use the yang. They want that to become the global currency. And that's probably why I pretty much mentioned Africa and America, because I'm saying, family, us Americans, we better waken up soon and decide whether we're going to allow this division between us, or we're going to come together and say, skip all these word plays and these nationality names and the dividing of the paths, and I mean the land, dividing up the lands. And when are we going to say enough is enough and take our upper hands? Get our upper hands on our situation here. At least get your upper hand on the situation. Then you can have space to call yourself an Indian and go la 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 la, and you know, do our African dances or whatever we want to do out here. You know what I'm saying? You know, we need to take care of that first. I think. You know, secure that first. Okay, the Japanese yen as well as the euro could serve as key alternatives to the dollar. Very sad. Adding that he and you know none of these people's money, the yin, the yang, the euro, what have you. It shouldn't be anything right now, but this, you know, I just got rid of it. But the African land resources, and the reason why they're over there to block us from our rightful rightful heritage, our rightful heritage, and they know that this whole planet is our rightful heritage family. So that's why I said we can be whatever we want to be after we secure our place, you know, where we need to be. You know, first get up. Don't be underneath somebody's feet talking about something that you can't really grasp without a fight. That you know they're gonna kill you over. That you know they're not gonna allow you to do. That's why we have to do what we have to do is put ourselves in that position. And once we're in our proper position as one, as a whole people, not in fragments like they like to have us, divide and conquer, not allowing petty things to come between us or to, you know, just little petty nitpicking, ridiculous things that don't mount to a hill of beans at all. Don't mount to a hill of beans. So we know, we see the dollar weakening. We see they having coin problems right now. We see that we got different countries trying to stick their yin and their yang inside as a replacement. And none of them have a good backing. They stole majority of the stuff anyway. So, you know, everything's stolen. So that's the news with the dollar. Let's see. Do I want to get into that? Let me see what else I want to talk about right now. Because we too trusty of people in places. Yeah, I get into that. We're too trusty. We're too trusting of people and places. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this is going to come up right. And then I'll share my screen. Okay. Let's have one. I thought I had the video from. Okay, this is the black
Say it again, bro. Motherfucking no, they would have shot a goddamn person. Say it again, bro. Say it again, bro. I said, you think they would have shot me if I was running through their goddamn neighborhood? Well, I'm gonna give them an opportunity. Yeah. Oh.
these are the Black Panthers, not inside. See, please keep distance from the armed Black Panthers who marched outside Ahmad Arbery's murderer's house. Okay. And what else do I have here? I have another video. They were at his house. So this was the Black Panthers, right? But you got a trick played on our eyes and our minds here. And like I said, it became easy to infiltrate or to jump in front of and still.
Say it again, bro. Motherfucking no, they would have shot a goddamn bus. Say it again, bro. Say it again, bro. I said, you think they would have shot me if I was running through their goddamn neighborhood? Well, I'm gonna give them an opportunity.
This guy right here. It's obvious who that is, right? Grandmaster Jay.
Oh, invest.
And it's obvious.
He told us, he's like,
It's obvious. Let me see. You have to keep your eyes aware of what you're looking at, because there's a switcheroo. There's a switcheroo that is easily done. That is easily done. Right in front of us. It's usually everything's right in front of us. Let me see something. Okay, we see that this was.
so, how about this neighbor said, murder is murder, and he's with us. But look at his neighbor next door. This is America, y'all. You have one neighbor that is saying murder is murder, and this is wrong. Then you have a neighbor right next door saying re-elect Trump 2020. Keep America first. Trump, no more bullshit. But y'all bringing the bullshit. Y'all literally are the feces of America. Trump supporters are the feces of America. So y'all see what type of neighborhood Ahmad was running through. This is the type of neighborhood that he was running through. So you already know. So we just decided to come through, you know what I'm saying, with a couple friends, with a couple middle friends, because since they want to ride through, oh, look at the police. Police on the other side, they've been trolling us. So we made sure that we came out here armed. We made sure that we came out here armed. We made sure that we came out here armed. Because y'all, we got original Black Panthers out here with us, because y'all not about to play with us no more. If y'all can come through and kill Ahmad and everything's cool, thank you.
So what he did was he went.
He talking about, I ain't bothering y'all, y'all ain't bothering me.
Then he got on social media and made it's intellect fact. So let me find that. Let me find his from Aubrey. Let me see. Oh, hold on. Let me look and see if I can find his. The Black Panthers and okay. So basically, all he had to do was go on his social media and claim it.
Trying to get behind closed doors and come up with a strategy. That's a racial crime scene. Right. So therefore, it's our responsibility to come in, look at the current state, use a common sense approach of, I know what you're telling me, but what I see don't match what you're telling me. Right. So let's find the middle ground. Okay? So therefore, with regards to the situation with Mr. Aubrey, the story as the American public understands it is that a young black man was jogging through a suburban neighborhood and that some retired individuals saw him and suspected him of being the same individual that had come through the neighborhood repeatedly and was taking things, and they thought that they could take it upon themselves. This is their story now, to apprehend him and perform a citizen's arrest. And in the process of doing that, a struggle ensued and a young man died. That sounds like a typical made up on the spot excuse that law enforcement would put together when the other individual is not around to tell their side of the story. Smelled fishy from the gate. Now, for those of you all who don't know, I have had my own experience with that area as a victim. Back in the early 90s, I was in the military. I was on my way to Jacksonville, Florida, from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I had never been that far south before. Somebody warned me. They said, once you get south of Savannah, watch your back. That's one of the last vestiges of the good old boy. Network lynch you on the spot, don't care, be careful down there. I drove down there and I got pulled over right south of Savannah by one of the good old boys who accused me of something I hadn't done. I was military at the time, active duty, so I'm not going to break no rules. I'm not that stupid. They took me to a little jail in the town of Hinesville. And on my ticket, it said I was in Hinesville committing the crime. I was on Interstate 95, minding my own business. Like they wrote up a whole case. But what they didn't know was who they had pulled over. I was attached to the chief of staff of Fort Bragg. So I made one phone call. And every phone call in the joint started ringing. And they realized, I'm not one of your local yokels. This is not going to work. But I learned the flavor of racism that exists. There are different flavors of racism. People need to understand that just because they smile in your face and shake your hand and say, hey, Chuck, glad to have you here, my friend. That's one approach. That's a passive approach. But there are some folks who just don't want things to be different. So they function under that same mentality. You still a boy? You still a nigga? You still a thief? You're not even a human being yet. Civil Rights Act didn't change.
Okay, enough of that. Now we come to this. Ooh.
They had a message for the crowd and a conversation with local city leaders. Jesse Cohen shares their message. It was a long day as members of the NFAC started.
Okay, let me see.
Check one. No, I ain't got that yet. Still ain't over, bro.
So they played a trick with the eyes of the public, the Black community, because we saw the Black Panthers out there first, and we also saw, we didn't just see them there, but we also saw them in all black before. I'm gonna get that, and then I'll show you where else we saw them before this Grandmaster J came out. Okay. And we were also, I was very proud of this one. As Let me see it. Okay, it was more like on YouTube. Okay, Michigan lawmaker. That was that Michigan lawmaker. But we know that they were the Black Panther. So, of course, it wasn't like we didn't already have people who were already doing this. You know, we had organizations, and then out of the blue comes INFAC, of course. And let me share this. Let me share this. Let me share this. It's not like there's not a history of it. That's what I'm saying, of taking over a organization and changing it, or cooperating its message and making it into um, okay.
Black Lives Matter. Mr. Jay Johnson wants to speak a few words about unity.
He introduced me, and you clapped. But I want you to give yourself a hand, because look at the turnout, not only here, but I heard it's about 5,000 people on the other side of this bridge. Sending a message not only to the United States, but to the entire globe, that when you hear about Charleston, South Carolina, you have us mistaken. We are united as the human race. To this point, you have heard Black Lives Matter. Come here a second, I'm going to do this here in Charleston. I'm going to do this right here. I am going to say this to you. Stand right here. Can you hold this for me? It's not Black lives that matter anymore. All lives. And wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, whether it be behind a keyboard or a cell phone, or in some dark cave somewhere, spewing your hatred, trying to keep us divided. We are the United States of America, one country, indivisible, unto God.
So let's go try to find the next one. Okay, here we go. This is the
Conduct
one.
that back-end investigation, which I did have to talk. And
I found this kind of interesting, and I'm definitely gonna try this one.
let them know in so uncertain terms, it's not just the people of Louisville that you owe an explanation to. You owe an explanation to Black people, period. Because this is not an isolated incident. Every time something happens, y'all want to talk about Ahmaud Arbery. Then y'all want to talk about George Floyd. It's always somebody else. No, this is one problem. So this was the problem that we felt needed to be addressed. And we needed to address it because y'all ain't saying nothing. Don't take this wrong way, but these canned responses that were written by a speechwriter, that's not keeping it real with us, as we say. We grown folks, we can handle the truth. So our goal was to come down and do the second part, because I told them, if I don't feel like you telling me the truth, or if you tell me something that's not going to satisfy what these people want, I'm going to bring my people in just to emphasize that we really want the truth. And that's what today was. I'm delivering on my part of the bargain. And what they told me is what I told them. I hope they didn't lie to me. I really don't. Because we can get to a resolution of this. So somebody can have justice for Breonna. That's all. All that other stuff is extra. It's extra. So that was the goal. Now how I felt it went great. The place is not on fire. You're not running and shit. Okay? Because y'all bleep that out. The cameraman still got his camera. Okay? Ain't nobody took your car. We're not going door to door killing people.
Okay, it's not chaos in the land like everybody doom and gloom like they forecast because black people armed themselves. None of that happened. My people performed professionally. They were militant.
You made it clear that you want to see some action. It's been 4 months since Breonna Taylor was killed. How much time after today is it yet again not acceptable that we're not getting any answers?
Okay, so I need everybody to stop suffering from what we call quarantine amnesia. You see, everybody talks like the quarantine didn't happen. Like it's been business as usual for 4 months. It has not. The whole world got terrified, ran in the house and closed the door, scared to breathe and cough. Nobody gave a damn about the judicial system. Everybody act like that didn't happen. We didn't come out of our cave until like the end of May sometime. Then we got to business. So really it hasn't been 4 months. It's been June and July. So even though the murder happened back then, we only were able to deal with it once we realized that we wasn't going to drop dead from COVID-19.
Talk a little bit about the turnout today. Happy with the turnout, the amount of people, and
I stood down a greater portion of our group because once we did the walkthrough last night, we realized that if we put 5,000 people in here, they wouldn't all fit. We got people all the way back here, and there's no controlling what would have happened. So we brought the group number down, and they performed admirably. So I'm very satisfied. Very satisfied.
You said when you spoke to Cameron, did he tell you that it will take 4 additional months to recreate the scene for where Taylor was killed?
He said it would take 4 to 6 months additional from the time he received the case. And he received the case last week. And I told him that was unacceptable.
And also, too, did you tell him that, the 4-week deadline, that how we want, the investigation basically completed within the next 4 weeks?
Yes.
What was his response?
He says, as soon as I receive the case, I'll give it the emphasis that it deserves. And from everything that I've seen them doing, they busting their ass. I will say, I've watched. They busting their ass to get to the bottom. They've got so many things to reconstruct. That, for instance, the police report is blank. Like, I saw it, it's blank. Like, name, nothing. Not redacted, blank. So now we got to go back and figure out what happened. We got to talk to some people. Got to go take some pictures. Got to try to figure out. Got to look at. Got to listen to some radio. Got to rebuild this shit. And I understand that it took them 2 months to do Ahmaud Arbery. They just went to trial last week. That boy got killed back in February. We went down there to visit them in May. They just went to trial. Okay, this is going to now that it's in the appropriate hands.
Today, there was a lot of talk about other groups showing up to protest, you guys protesting. We, for the most part, only saw a small amount of 3%ers. And aside from that, we haven't really seen much. Can you talk about that response, what you guys saw, what you were expecting, and kind of how it went?
There's nothing to say. We don't respond to threats. We didn't come here to fight anybody. Our mission has been said over and over again. We are here for the protection of black people. Like that's such a crime. They got a problem with us. They made threats against us. They didn't make good on their threats. We don't care because we don't scare. That's my answer.
What's next for the NFAC, specifically here in Louisville?
Well, we entered into a partnership with some of the organizations here, some of the neighborhood organizations, to assist them in the building of neighborhood policing models, also neighborhood policing, neighborhood community building, proactive versus reactive, work along with them, gun ownership, training, and also addressing ills within their community. For instance, Claude Anderson talks about group economics, establishing agreements that if a business comes into their neighborhood, they have to sign an agreement that 50% of their profits have to go back into that neighborhood. Well, you can't do business with us. If you're going to gentrify us, you can only do it if we have first dibs at what you build. Or you can't come in. We've agreed to help out with that, even if it means us. Can somebody turn off the goddamn radio, please?
Radio back here, sir.
Turn it off. Turn off the goddamn radio. Thank you. I can turn it off. Thank you. Sorry. This is a family show, right? All right, you bring the kids back in. You bring the kids back in. So there are other efforts that we're doing that I won't go into liberty because of who they are, but we're assisting the same way we're assisting in some other cities. So that's what we're going to be doing here. And even if we have a hot spot, we'll assist. Remember, we're here to assist. We're not here to take anybody's place. We understand every place has their own dynamics, their own politics, their own problems, their own tragedies, like what happened with Miss Taylor. She was just the catalyst that brought us in to work along with these people.
Are you confident in 4 weeks you will get what you guys are asking for, which is, I mean, essentially justice charges? Are you confident in 4 weeks that can be delivered?
There's two answers. My opinion, based on what I've seen, is that they will do everything in their power at the AG level to try to send something back down that is action. Do I believe they can do it in 4 weeks when it normally takes 8 weeks? Well, let's just say I wouldn't want to be in their shoes if I didn't.
Today, when you were speaking to the crowd just a little earlier ago, you were saying today no one had to use their weapons. Possibly next time that might not be the case. You also talked about how the only shots that did go off today were by someone of your own. Can you just talk a little bit about what happened? I know a lot of people have been wondering, how are they? How did this happen? Those types of things.
We are a safety first organization. Every one of our members, before we allow them to carry a weapon, they have to sign an indemnity agreement. So if they accidentally kill someone, they can't turn around and sue NFAC, meaning you're a responsible gun owner. You then have to have your weapon inspected by me or one of my commanders to make sure that it's safe. During our safety inspection, hold on a second. Who partying and having a good time? I'm at the wrong party? Okay, I need y'all to shut that down for me. During one of our safety checks, one of our individuals accidentally fired their weapon. That weapon injured a couple of people. Both those people are going to be okay. We did have our own medics on site. Like I said, a lot of us are ex-military. Some of us are combat medics. But the police department had agreed that we would have EMS resources on, and of course, they were engaged immediately. We secured our own people. They let us secure our own people.
Passivity.
Most people don't realize what they
let us.
actually saw was an example of community policing. They waited for me to arrive so that I could direct how this was going to go. Otherwise, what most of us are used to is the police come in, grab everybody up, people get brutalized, and there's nobody from our community that has any authority in the issue. That is why another thing that we're doing is we open up dialogues. We're not being your buddy. We're not joining you. We're partnering with you. The same way the United States partners with countries that it really doesn't like. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Let that sink in.
So we had that model in effect. So they worked along with us. They resolved the issue. They did exactly what we had agreed on. I had an agreement with Major Gregory that if anything happened, him and I would split the authority, technically giving me authority over the police department temporarily, okay, on his behalf. All right. So that's why you see me talking to them, not just talking to them. He gave me authority. That's an example of us working together. Okay. We will address threats, but let y'all try to clean up first.
They may have some more questions, but my last question for you is, you guys really were so organized, probably some of the most organized, individuals that I've seen in a very long time. You came out, you guys got on one knee as a group over and over, had your fists in the air together over and over. Can you kind of talk about that community, that camaraderie, and what message that sends to the people who are going to be watching our newscasts?
Unity is not something that you say I am. Unity is not everybody standing together like you saw right now. Unity is a frame of mind. It is the taking off of mental chains. And all of these people have taken off their mental chains and they understand. that no matter what our differences are, we're all the same and we have a common problem. And people keep threatening us. So when you threaten us, see the us is truly us, it's easy to get on one accord. And we're on one accord. We're on code, as they say. And because we all love each other, we love our people in spite of our differences, which is what everybody else does. The example that it sets, not only for the world, but to our young people, is a message that's much needed today. So I think that when they see people like us that look like them doing things like this, it inspires them. And it also restores hope for a lot of older people who thought they were going to leave this world. They got one foot in the grave and one foot on the banana peel. They see there is hope for the race and they can go into that good night with a smile like your own. And then all of the people who died in the 60s, brutalized in the 70s, died of crack in the 80s, got shot down by police in the 20-teens. At least they can rest a little better from the ancestral side that the brothers and sisters are doing something together. That's what the message that we send. And it's being sent to melanated people all around the world. And we know what's good for us is good for you. Whatever's good for black people, it's good for white people. That's why you're smiling. Okay?
And just to be clear, you said that the Attorney General said that he just got all the documents from the mayor, correct? From Louisville. He told you that. Okay.
That is correct. As of last week, a week ago. Now, I'm not sure that they did that because we were talking to them or that more attention was coming. But at the end of the day, you all have to understand the man said he didn't have all the facts. And you all are beating him up. And y'all think he's ignoring you. No, he's waiting on them to give him all of the facts. But now you got to ask yourself, what happened to the facts? That's why the FBI had to come in like, hold on a minute. Where the facts at? And then all this tap dancing and everybody lawyering up, people quitting their jobs. Where the facts at? Because the fact of the matter is something crooked was done. And I'm not at liberty to go into the dirty details, but I will tell you this. When he comes back with what he's going to do, and the FBI comes back with what they need to do, all y'all going to be surprised. Because I know I was. That's why you don't hear me saying, let's go arrest the police right now. I know some stuff. I need y'all to know it. Now, if they don't do what they're supposed to do based on what we know, they going to have a problem then.
Any final thought? You want me to get out there? Or? Haven't get on yet.
Last thought is that the NFAC is not going anywhere. It's going to be here for a while. The NFAC, anybody got a towel?
No.
Somebody stole my towel? See, we got to stop that. Thievery. Anyway, the NFAC is not going anywhere. It's going to get bigger. As a matter of fact, it's grown.
What? Really?
Exponentially in the last 2 months because our problem is here. The last thing I want to say to everyone who's watching, stop thinking that when you see a black man with one of these, that there's a problem. If you have a guilt complex or an inferiority complex, get help. We deal in facts, not feelings. The last message I want to say is this. To all of the families out there that have lost loved ones at the hands of the police or at the hands of racists, call us so we can find out the truth for you. But if you can't get in touch with us, constitutionally, you're authorized to find out on your own. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Myself, whoever is on there. If there's ever anything that we can do, please call me anytime today. Happy to help.
Nice.
and President Obama did not provide the lethal defensive weaponry on a unanimous basis that Congress authorized him to do.
Okay. What else? Um, Look at that sun. Bright as hell. And on this note, I'm gonna leave us with this is why I always say that once we recognize the Savior within ourselves, we don't have to follow anyone who may not be necessarily uh, right. Because again, like Lauren Hill says, how you gonna win when you ain't right within? And we can tell, you can tell when someone's not right within. And if you haven't learned anything by now, then I don't know what it's gonna take. That family, true love, real peace, the higher self within. That's all. Till next time. Peace.